Hello, this is Dr. Garrett Castleberry, Associate Professor and Program Director of Communication, Media, and Ethics at Mid-America Christian University. I'm here with a brief video introduction for our next speaker in our strategic interviewing guest speaker series, all part of our creating social media presence and cultural movements goals and educational outcomes that we're meeting. We're working on networking, we're working on interviewing skills, we're working on question writing, we're working on a great many things to help us in our journeys to become the next wave of employees and future leaders and vision casters and everything in between. So with this week's guest, to give you a little bit of background information, our guest upcoming for the course is Lindsay Jones. And Lindsay Jones, relatively young by comparison, working professional, but already she is amassing an impressive portfolio of experiences and some quality organizational work that I'm going to share with you briefly. All right. One of the things we can, of course, any of these areas that fall into the experience of a guest speaker is fair game for questions. So let's be gearing those important questions toward that end. All right, Miss Jones has a bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Arts in Communication, our field of expertise, and then followed that up with a master's in public administration. All right, and so you're seeing like a nice healthy combination of degrees that is setting this individual up for success in her desired field or fields of professional labor. All right, and this professional labor includes, I'll do a little bit of reading to keep the title straight, working for the Oklahoma State Department of Health. This has been a most recent position as our emergency response coordinator. And emergency response, crisis communication, emergency management, risk management. These areas are ripe within the field house of this guest speaker. And so let's unpack it. If that's a confusing term, if I'm using words and phrases that sound foreign, well, let's get to the specifics. Like, ask, what is this? What exactly does it mean? All right, your questions can help us unpack that with our guest speaker. Miss Jones has also interned with the City of Denton Fire Department, where she was a Homeland Security intern and did some, to my knowledge, grant writing with them. That's exciting. That's important stuff. It ties into, I use that keyword intern. I believe Lindsay was serving that capacity while a master's student at the University of North Texas, where she also served as SGA president. All right, so here's someone with a high GPA, extremely active on campus, but also off. And so we can always take away that kind of knowledge about how are people setting themselves up for professional success, for personal satisfaction. And it has to do with applying yourself. So maybe questions about that. What does that look like? What do you even do in student government, right? Or how do you apply that to maybe your area of going into emergency management? I don't know. They're your questions, but let's ask great questions. Let's be looking for those unique questions that our peers aren't also asking. Okay, so every time we go through a new round, a new guest speaker, we're wanting to pull out the strongest possible interview protocols. All right. Oh, in addition, Lindsay Jones has served as the captain of her collegiate speech and debate organization, and so in addition to functioning on that kind of like campus competitive team, right? A student on scholarship, right, for such organizations. She was a state champion in one of her speech events. An individual event, so maybe we can inquire what that is, what that's about. Also a national competitor in numerous events. All right, thing is like speech making, persuasive speech making, perhaps informative speech making, but also some of these interpretive events, maybe, that kind of cross the line over into performance, and perhaps you all have questions about that, and maybe how do those kinds of activities translate into professional development? Do they? Is it frivolous? Is it a waste of time, right? Is it just a means to an end, or are we just on scholarship, or what's going on there? And then let's see. Also, this is a person that loves people, that loves community. So a lot of community service includes working with, linking up with organizations of mutual interest. All right, Ms. Jones has worked in guest services with the Anime Weekend Atlanta a number of years. This is kind of a teaser to closing announcements about professional transition, but also she served as Director of Registration at IzumiCon in Oklahoma City. So what is that? You'd have to ask her, right? What is IzumiCon, and how does one get involved in service to that end? Because community service is something that at some point you are tasked with completing here at MacU. So that's a great tie-in, a good opportunity to learn something there. Finally, exciting, the reason we've kind of juggling around this speaker, this guest interviewee's schedule, is because she's literally in transition. I mentioned the fantastic role she served with the Oklahoma State Department of Health and her emergency coordinating role, but she has recently accepted a position as she's a newly hired emergency management planner for the city of Atlanta, Department of Aviation. What? This sounds like an amazing career transition for a young professional, and let's learn from this. Let's get to know Lindsay. Let's ask some questions, have her unpack her story in so many ways, and let's see what we can learn for our strategic interviewing sessions in COM 4603, possibly creating social media presence and cultural movements. Thank you.